Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ammon, and this is my top picks for Winter 23. This is from a Milwaukee Salesforce Saturday session. Something to note, some key dates that are coming up still. We still have our October release weekends coming up, and pay attention to your release readiness live. My first feature that I was excited about is a quick clone feature. This is for developer and developer pro sandboxes on Hyperforce. One of the caveats of this is you have to be in Hyperforce. You need to have the managed sandbox permissions, but it allows you to make copies of customized sandboxes for each developer. So you don't have to enable it, just make sure that your devs get access to it. And what you can do for that is that when you create a sandbox and you make some configurations there, you can clone that particular sandbox of the same type. So if you have a dev sandbox, you can close a dev. If you have a dev pro, you can clone a dev pro. And it's going to be all the same configurations that you have in there, and be able to send that off to another developer to continue working on additional work. That way the previous one can still work on stuff that they were working on before in the other sandbox. It's kind of some cool functionality that gives us a little more flexibility in our development lifecycle. The next thing up is some flow updates. The first one that I was really excited about is the isClone on record trigger flows. The isClone can be checked basically to see if the record is a clone of another. And you can just use that functionality of isClone with the record dot whatever the ID is. The next cool feature that I was excited about in Flow is the cut and paste flow elements. You now have the ability to take a flow element, cut it, and then paste it in another area. You weren't able to do that before. You were able to copy and paste and then reestablish all the connections. But now you can cut out a piece and then select the little plus sign on this side of here, click add element, and then paste that element in there. So it's a quick way to move things around on the page layout that you weren't able to do before. Well, you were able to do before, just a little more ease now. The next cool thing is the record trigger flows update related records. So I can now use the updated records related to in this scenario, the account, to update other related records that are tied to that account. So now I can update contacts if I want with this without having to specify all the criteria. I can say update the related records for this particular one. Then I can specify the rest of the criteria of the ones that I want, blah, 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 that type of deal. Kind of cool because this functionality was available in Process Builder. Now it's available in Flows. The last thing that I was really excited about on Flow was that we now have the search functionality in our add element. Before it was on the sidebar, but now we have it in our add element. We can just quickly search for the element that we're looking for, the component that we're looking for. We can find it and add it here instead of having to find another side and bring it onto this side. The next thing we're going to cover here is the field updates. I was really excited about this beta feature, the mass delete inactive pick list values. I don't know if you've ever had the option where you've created a lot of pick list fields for a particular field, and then eventually they become obsolete and you want to get rid of them. You have to do them all one by one. You can now mass delete them. One thing you know, this is only on custom fields. So your standard industry field, it's a no-go. You still got to delete all those by hand right now. The other cool thing that came out in fields was the bulk managed pick list values. So once you turn this on from your setup menu, you can now quickly manage your pick list values. So I can click the little checkbox here and say I want to deactivate these. I want to replace the selected ones. So we have our deactivate and replace. You can also say delete. So I can quickly delete my pick list values versus having to click one and deactivate, one and the next one deactivate. I can quickly deactivate all these in a quick action by clicking the ones that I want and then the correlating button to do the action that I want. Some of the dynamic stuff that came out, it's now on accounts, person accounts, opportunities, and contacts. So that's kind of a cool thing. You can see here we're looking at an account record here, and we now have the upgrade functionality to upgrade to dynamic forms for accounts. Some other interesting things when you migrate. So the thing I was just talking about, that little button there, the migration. The migrate fields and selection to the according component to improve page performance, that is no longer selected by default. So if you don't select this, you won't get your current page layout in an according view on the new layout as a form. It's just going to be whatever forms you want unless you select this checkbox to get what you need. The other cool dynamic feature that was released was that with pick lists, you can now select more than one option. So now I can say I want my status is equal to new or working. So now I can have that option of having more than one pick list option. Before I could only select one, and then I had to go add the value again and do some conditional logic. Now I have the option just to add more than one value here for my pick list field. Thanks for coming, and let me know what you are excited about most in Winter 23. Thanks for coming. See you next time.